The practitioners of a strange field of knowledge known as linguistic typology like to break down the sentence structures of all languages into the 6 categories you see beside me, where S stands for subject, V for verb, and O for object. In an actual sentence, the subject and object slots will be filled by either a noun or something that operates like a noun, such as a nominative pronoun, he, she, it, etc. And the verb slot will be filled by, well, a verb. This video, however, isn't about those big letters. No, this video is going to be about all the other stuff you find in a sentence, what I'm going to be calling qualifiers. So let's talk qualifiers. Alright, so in my video on nouns, I talked about how we as storytellers need to get away from how grammarians look at nouns and other noun-like things. Well, a similar logic applies here when talking about qualifiers. You see, certain parts of speech, such as adjectives and adverbs, are viewed by grammarians as modifiers. To make sense of this, take the phrase an ugly dog, which you see here on your right. In the world of grammar, adding the word ugly changes or modifies the dog. You had a dog, now you've changed it into an ugly dog. The reason for this logic is that grammarians care about words, not what's behind them. Thus, there is no actual dog. What's being modified is the word dog. But this sort of logic doesn't work for storytelling. When I, as a storyteller, set out to write a story, I must view the world I create as real, and as such, the dog in my story, in the world I've created, is already ugly. What I have to decide is whether or not my readers need to know that the dog is ugly. If I decide that they do need to know this, I haven't modified the dog in any way. All I have done is let my readers know about how ugly it is. Let me go over this again so that everyone understands. When you write a story, you're creating a world, but you're not going to be able to describe every single detail within that world. Instead, you have to pick and choose what you believe to be the most relevant details for the story that you're telling. Now, in that world, there's an ugly dog. The dog itself is actually important for the story you're telling, so you're going to mention it. But the dog's looks may not be important. That's something you have to decide. So let's say you've decided to call the dog ugly. You have not modified the dog in any way, because the dog was already ugly. What you have done instead is qualified the dog. That is, you have added a quality to your description of the dog, so that the reader will know that the dog is ugly. And this is why we as storytellers should think of these things at my side as qualifiers, because each in their own way allow you to add quality to your story. Now, the first 5 qualifiers listed here are all more or less self-explanatory, or rather, based on what I've said about qualifiers, you should be able to look at the examples provided and figure out how they qualify a noun or a verb in the example. But the last 2 parts of speech, the interjection and the conjunction, are a little bit trickier and may require some further explanation. Let's take the interjection first. What exactly is gadzooks qualifying? Clearly, it's not qualifying anything we see, that is, any of the words on your screen. But remember, qualifiers don't qualify words. They qualify the thing to which a word refers. Thus, gadzooks qualifies the speaker. It alerts us to the fact that the speaker is surprised or alarmed by the sight of an ugly dog. Now, the conjunctions. Strictly speaking, conjunctions do not add quality by themselves. What they do instead is establish the conditions for qualification. Thus, the but you see here lets us know that what's about to follow is going to qualify what was just expressed, as does the so, although in a slightly different way. The but literally qualifies the original statement, while what comes after the so enhances our understanding of everything that came before it, such that we as readers now have a good grip on the sort of person the narrator of this sentence is. Alright, so I hope this video helped you to rethink how you're using words when you're telling a story. If so, like, subscribe, and share. And if not, well, I'm sure you'll be more than happy to tell me about it in the comments below. See ya!